ABCs of getting to know me. Hello Bookworm family, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Danny. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell because I am posting every day for the month of December for Vlogmas. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, please be sure to do that. It is at _dancing_bookworm. I post on there full book reviews and bookish content. So I am filming at this angle because I really hurt my back and I don't feel like trying to sit on the floor to record, so I'm just going to kind of hold the camera as still as possible, and this video is going to be kind of short so that I can not be in pain. So anyways, I decided it'd be kind of fun to do, like, you guys know, like, those Facebook surveys where they, like, give you a word and you have to, like, fill in the answer kind of thing. So I thought I'd do one of those for, like, the ABCs of me kind of thing. So I just kind of, like, found random words that start with each letter of the alphabet and turned it into a question, and I'm going to answer those questions for you guys here so you guys can get to know me a little better. Also, my lip is super sore, so if I'm not like smiling as much, I just like bite my lips when I read, which is horrible, especially when I read a lot because it like really digs in after a while. So I'm just a mess today. I'm falling apart. So I'm gonna do my best to try to hold this camera as still as possible while I read the questions that I wrote down. And so the first letter we have is A, and for A I wrote age, so I am 28. B, we have birthday. My birthday is April 3rd and I was born in 1992, so obviously that makes me 28. College. So I went to two colleges. I went to Onondaga Community College, which is obviously a community college. I went there for 1 year. Then I moved to Virginia for a year and took a year off of college, but I tried to transfer into a school down in Virginia, but because I was still listed as an out-of-state person, I was gonna have to pay a ton of money to do that. So I decided to just come back up to Oswego, and I went to SUNY Oswego for the rest of my degree, and I got my bachelor's. So I don't live in Oswego anymore, but I lived there for 5 or 6 years I lived in Oswego, but now I live a little bit more downstate. So but yeah, I went to SUNY Oswego and got my bachelor's in creative writing with a focus in children's literature and fiction and poetry and screenwriting. I did a lot of focuses. I probably could have graduated after 3 years, but I did 4 because I wanted more focuses. So D, my dream. I would say my dream is to probably own my own dance studio one day, but also that's not a big dream of mine. Like, I'm so torn because it's so stressful, but like at the same time I do a lot at my studio already, so I feel like I'm more prepared than other people. But it's so stressful to own your own business. Like, I don't know how my boss does it. So I feel like maybe one day I'd want to open my own dance studio, but maybe not for a long, long time. Like, when I'm like 50 and too old to teach dance, maybe. But I think right now, like, my like immediate dream is to just kind of keep up at the pace that I'm going right now, which it sounds like such a lame dream, but like I had a really, really bad rock bottom like 3 or 4 years ago, 3 years ago maybe, and these last few years have just been about stabilizing and trying to get myself healthy and being good to myself and good to others. And you know, I'm in a really happy place with my family right now. I'm in a really happy place with who I am, and I just really like this part of my life. So right now I just kind of want to keep this pace, and I'm not really like dreaming big and like planning my next step because who knows what COVID's gonna bring next. So kind of just keeping steady with what's going on right now. So the next letter is E, and my ethnicity, I'm white, but I don't know like specifically. I think I'm German, and that's it. I don't really know. I've never actually done like a heritage thing or like a research, like a DNA or anything like that. I feel like I'm like probably like English and German. I don't really know. I would have to like actually do like a DNA test, but I feel like that's what, oh wait, I think my mom told me I was French at one point too. I don't know. I've asked my mom a couple times, and I feel like she changes it every time because she doesn't know either. So the next one is family. So I'm doing that for like family in my house. I live with 7, so I'm the 7th in the house. I have my brother and my sister-in-law own the house. They have 3 kids. My oldest niece is Ava, my nephew is Jacob, and my youngest niece is Riley. And oh yeah, my brother's name is Jay, and my sister-in-law's name is Lisa. So I have them, and then I live with my mom too, lives here, and then I live here. We also have 7 pets. We have 4 fish, 2 cats, and a dog. And my dad actually passed away in 2019 around this time, so last year around this time. So it's only been a year without him, but he passed away very suddenly from a heart attack, and it just shook my family a ton, but we've gotten really close this past year living together and like obviously having to quarantine together and stuff like that. But yeah, he is definitely missed in my family a lot, so it's been hard without him, but we are doing what we can to stay a tight-knit family. So G, I have guilty pleasure. So for guilty pleasure, I want to say, so my guilty pleasure for reading is straight romance. Like, I don't like any erotica or anything like that, or like anything with like sex in it, but like goofy, stupid romance. Like, that's like my guilty pleasure for reading. But I think like my guilty pleasure for life is probably like reality TV. I have a really big problem watching reality TV, but not like Kardashians. Like, okay, like Dance Moms, I guess is kind of dumb, but like I really like Dance Moms. But like game show, reality TV game shows. So health, so like any health conditions. So I have diagnosed borderline personality disorder, depression, anxiety, and PTSD. I'm on treatment for all of them. Like, I have medication for all of them. I see therapists, all that stuff. Like, and I've actually been pretty stable this year with all of it, so I'm happy with that because it took a long time. Like, it takes a really long time for mental health meds to, like, kick in and work and make you feel better and stuff like that. So, happy that they are. But other than that, I don't have, like, any, like, big health issues. I had triple knee surgery 3 years ago. Triple knee surgery 3 years ago, and I just can't, like, do as much, like, I can't run or, like, do, like, specific, like, dance moves and stuff like that, so I don't really, like, do that, but, like, it was better than expected because at one point they were like, you might not walk normal after this, and I was like, oh, like, so it's nice that it's not that bad, and I definitely still dance. I just do very simple dancing now, but it's that was, like, my, like, biggest physical health issue, I guess. But yeah, like, mental health is probably my bigger thing, but I'm doing really well with it, so. Sometimes I get anxious, but I think I tell you guys in, like, my vlogs, I'm like, I'm anxious, like. Irritation, so my biggest irritation, oh my gosh, I have so many. So my first one is when I am teaching, and, people, like, I'll be teaching something and people will know, like, what's gonna come next, or, like, assume they know what's gonna come next, and they'll just start doing it and not wait for me to actually teach it, and then I'll teach it and they'll be like, wait, what? I hate that so much. I hate that so much. My other thing is, like, my nieces and nephew don't, like, sit in their chairs correctly when they eat. That drives me nuts. Like, my niece will, like, half sit in her chair with, like, one knee up on her chair and the other foot on the ground. I'm like, just sit in your chair. It drives me nuts. I hate that. I feel like I have so many pet peeves, and whenever I see people doing something, I'm like, that's my pet peeve. But I can't think of them all off the top of my head. Those are just the 2 today that I was like, like, they bothered me today. Probably also just, like, when I see somebody being, like, outright mean to their child, like, not, like, being, like, a good disciplinarian, but, like, outright mean. I hate that. Like, when they're just like, you're stupid. And I'm like, you could word that better. No. My job. I'm a dance instructor, full-time dance instructor. I also have this year been babysitting my nieces and nephew from, like, the first half of my day, and then going right to work at the dance studio. But yeah, I'm a full-time dance instructor. I teach pretty much every style. The one that I teach the most is acrobatics, so it's like gymnastics and dance mixed together. And then hip-hop is probably my next one that I teach the most of, but I teach a little bit of everything. There's not, like, a style that I don't teach. I'm not, like, the best tapper, and I'm definitely not a good ballerina, so I try to avoid those classes, but I still teach them a little bit, so. The next one is the kindest thing someone has ever done for me. I have, like, a lot of examples of this, but this is really weird. When I was, like, 5 or 6, my grandma took me to McDonald's, or no, she took me to Walmart, but our Walmart had a McDonald's in it, and she gave me $2 and told me to go get a small fry. So I went and I ordered a small fry, but it turned out that with tax, it came to more than $2. So I was standing in line and I just like froze because I was like a little kid, and like my grandma's like not too far away. She was like kitty corner to me, like over in like the clothes, and I was like right there, and like she could see me, but like she didn't know what was going on. So I was like froze and I didn't know what to do because I was like, I don't have enough money. And the guy behind me, like, it was only a nickel, and the guy behind me was like, I'll just pay the nickel kind of thing. And I don't know why, but I've never forgotten that moment. I'm like, whenever that happens to somebody around me, I try to do the same for them. But it just, like, I know it was just a nickel, but, like, he could have just, like, not done anything. Like, he could have just been like, oh, stupid kid or something like that. Like, you know, but, like, he, like, went out of his way to make sure that I didn't have to stand there awkwardly anymore. So I don't know, that one just like sticks with me. There have been way other kinder things that people have done for me more than a nickel, but that was like I think the first time that I realized that like people were like not selfish or something. Like I just like it's like the first time like I acknowledged humans, I guess. Literature, so like my choice of literature. So I think you guys pretty much know this from being at my channel, but I love middle grade. It's probably my favorite because it's simple, it's easy, I can read it fast, and it brings me into a world, and I just need like that simplest escape a lot of times. I like young adult. I prefer sci-fi fantasy lately, which I never used to. I used to only like contemporary, but like lately I've really been into sci-fi fantasy. If I'm reading like an adult book, I want it to be like a mystery or a thriller. I don't really like reading contemporary adult books or romance or anything like that. But yeah, like I said, I have a guilty pleasure for straight romance, but I only do that like maybe like once every other month I'll read like a romance. Not even. I feel like maybe I've read a total of 4 romances this year. And I have 2 on my TBR for this year, so not even. But yeah, and I really just like things that like, I don't know, like I really like the Twisted Tale books because it references other things that I know. My favorite book of all time is Little Women, and Harry Potter is like my second, so yeah. Next one is marital status. I'm a single Pringle. What makes me nervous? So nervous. What makes me nervous? For a dance instructor, I have horrible stage fright. I danced in a company. I danced my whole life. I was in theater. I was in drama club. I grew up performing. I have horrible stage fright. Like, so bad. I can't even function. I will, like, get ready to go on stage and think I'm gonna puke and, like, want to like go to the bathroom, like like I get like nervous peeing, which is weird. Like I really am like, oh my god, I gotta pee, but like I don't. So that happens every time before I go on stage. When I get off stage, I am literally shaking. There's maybe been like 5 times in my entire life that I've actually made like a big mistake on stage, but I've been in dances since I was like 5, so like, that's not that bad. But yeah, like, and one was just a few years ago, I wiped out on stage. I think that kind of, like, turned me off of it. Now I just do really simple, like, I dance with, like, a group of adults who do it for fun kind of thing. So, yeah, I have bad stage fright. And I try not to give it to, like, my kids when I'm teaching. But, like, they'll come up to me and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I'm like, I'm so nervous. Like, and I get nervous now just watching them dance. I'm like I hold my breath in the wings. Like, they'll be on stage and I'll be like, and then they'll stop performing. I'm like, it's really bad. What am I obsessed with? So I am obsessed with, I have a really bad problem with Wendy's spicy chicken sandwiches. I am obsessed with Wendy's spicy chicken sandwiches. I eat them maybe like 3 times a week. It's really bad. But Wendy's is right next to my work, so. Pronouns. What are my pronouns? So, standardly, I think like 90% of people in my life use she, her pronouns for me. But I also use they, them. I think gender is non-conforming, so I don't really care what people call me, as long as they're being respectful of me. Like, so if they were gonna like come up to me and be like, oh, you dress like a boy but you're a girl, yeah, that's not cool with me. But like pretty much whatever pronouns people feel fit me in their life, I'll let them use for me. So if somebody want to call me he, him, I wouldn't really care. Like, if that's what you want to view me as, I just don't conform to any form of gender. So I know people usually are like, oh, well then you go by they, them, or like they, zed. I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I work with little kids, so I feel like it's really confusing to be like, no, I don't use pronouns. Like, and like, I don't use she, her, or whatever. But like, everybody does their own thing, but that's just my own personal, what I do. So I do mostly she, her. That's like what my family calls me, my friends call me, my work calls me, but then I also have some friends that use they, them for me, so. Quote for every day. So an everyday quote, I actually have 3 that keep me sane when being with my nieces and nephew. So my first one is for Ava when she was born. I like started labeling everything with the quote, "As soon as I saw you, I knew adventures were going to happen," from Winnie the Pooh. And then when Jacob was born, I started labeling everything with "The very thing that holds you down will carry you up and up," from Dumbo. And then when Riley was born, I did "When I look at you, I'm home," and that's from Finding Nemo. Dory says it to Nemo, or Dory says it to Marlin. So those are kind of the ones that, like, when they're being butts, I have to think about and be like, oh, I love them, because Ava brings me adventure, and Jacob's my little fighter, and Riley just makes me feel homey and snuggly and stuff like that, but they are such butt faces sometimes. So then we have my resolution. So my resolution for this year was supposed to do a video once a week. That didn't happen. And it was also to read 100 books. That did happen. I'm over 100 books now. My resolution for next year, I know, is to read 105 books. I just upped it by 5. But I don't know what, like, my own personal resolutions are for next year. I haven't really thought about it yet. The next one, sexuality. So I am gay. I am the L in LGBT. But yeah, I like women. That's pretty much, there's nothing else to say about that. Then we have TV show, my favorite TV show. Okay, so I really like, I like reality game shows. So I love Amazing Race and Survivor. I also love Jeopardy. Anything like that, like anything where there's like a game involved, I love. But like my favorite like TV shows, like fictional TV shows, I can quote every single line from Friends. And I've seen every single episode of I Love Lucy. And that's what my family called me Lucy for the longest time because, yeah, that's like, what am I thinking? I lost my train of thought, but, like, my family called me Lucy for the longest time, like, my mom, because I watched so much I Love Lucy growing up. So, love I Love Lucy, and then I've seen every episode of Impractical Jokers, so that's, like, another one, but that's also, like, a reality show, so I guess that goes with that. And then I also have a weakness for Dance Moms, which I shouldn't, because Abby Lee Miller is horrible, but I, you know, have a problem. What's something that I find unacceptable? Unacceptable is when somebody gets a gift and they complain about it. First of all, nobody had to get you a gift. And second of all, you don't complain about it because it was free to you. So I absolutely hate, I had one friend in high school. I went to their house for Christmas and his mom got him this beautiful down feather jacket. And he threw such a little kid, we were 18 at the time, little kid temper tantrum about it. He was like, "This is the worst thing anybody's ever gotten me. I can't believe you got me this. This isn't the one I wanted." He wanted another down feather jacket, like a same thing, just a different type, and like threw a fit on Christmas. And I was like, no, that's not cool with me. And then, like, I had another friend who, like, one of our dancers, it was, like, at my old studio, one of our dancers gave us, like, this, like, magnetic thing with all the teachers' names on it, and, like, she carved it herself in, like, her technology class, and she was like, "I'm so proud of it," and blah, 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 and, like, I had a friend, like, come up to me and be like, "Do you think it's okay if I, like, go over there with a Sharpie and, like, darken it up because it's really light?" And I'm like, no, that's not okay. Like, she just gave it to you as a gift. You can't, like, go over there and make it whatever you want it to be just because it's not perfect to you, like, kind of thing. So, and I've also, like, met people who are like, "Oh, can I just have the receipt for this because I'm not going to use it or wear it or whatever," and I'm just like, ew, like, I hate that. Like, just be grateful. Like, no one had to get you anything. Gifts are not mandatory, actually. If you think they are, you're wrong. Because I know plenty of people who get nothing for Christmas and nothing for their birthdays, so gifts are not mandatory, so you just say thank you. End of story. I find it unacceptable for any other answer besides thank you when people get a gift. My biggest victory. So I guess my biggest victory would probably be, I think, like, kind of working through some of my mental health issues was a really big victory, but also, like, the doctors, when I got my knee surgery, were like, oh, you'll never be able to dance again, like, don't even plan on it, and not even a full year later, I was dancing again, so that was cool. But, like, victory, like, award-wise, I feel like I got a scholarship in high school for being an advocate for organ donation, so that was cool. But I also feel like I've won other awards that I've been, like, even more proud of and I can't think of. Like, I know I won awards for, like, art. Like, I was a really good photographer. Surprise, surprise. I hate photography, though, because it's so competitive. And there's so many photographers, and, like, some people will love your work and some people will hate your work, and I just can't. Like, I already am, like, a dance teacher and already have to deal with that, so, like, I can't do photography on the side for that reason. My biggest, like, dance victory was probably, I had a lead in one of my company dances and it went over really well, but I've also won some, like, awards for dance and stuff. I don't know. I don't really know, like, my biggest, like, award victory, but probably, like, physical victory would be, like, dancing after they were like, no, you're never gonna dance again. My next one, I dropped my phone, is something I won't eat. I will not eat Brussels sprouts and I will not eat liverwurst, and my mom eats them all the time and it's disgusting and I don't know how she stomachs them. It's gross. And the next one is x-rays I've had. So I've had x-rays on my knee. I've had, like, CAT scans and stuff on my head because I've had concussions before. I've had x-rays on my foot and my ankle. I think that's it. Mainly I break a lot of, like, toes and, like, fracture my feet because of dance. But yeah, I had CAT scans for, like, concussions. I don't know if those actually count as x-rays, but I've had CAT scans. Or, like, MRIs, whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called. Yoga. Do I do yoga? No. I did yoga at one of my old dance studios. We did yoga. And I hated every second of it. I know it's supposed to relax people, but it made me more anxious. Like, too much time with my thoughts is, like, too uncomfortable for me. I didn't like it. So, like, you're supposed to be like, oh, like, not thinking about anything. My brain's like, hey, do you remember we have, like, 7 other things we could be doing right now, but instead we're sitting here on a mat crossing our legs? I'm like, oh crap, you're right. So yeah, no, I hate yoga. I can't do it. It stresses me out too much. So kind of just stick with dance stuff. And the last one is my favorite zoo animal. My favorite zoo animal is a giraffe. I love giraffes. Although I have, like, a soft spot for elephants lately too. And obviously I like sea cows, but you don't really see those around. But yeah, so that is the ABCs of me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys want to play along, I'll comment the questions and stuff down below. Thanks for watching. Bye!
Wasn't that a great video? Clearly books make me very happy. Now you can make me happy too. Click the subscribe button to follow my channel. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you think I did good. And the notification bell will let you know when I post new content. Also, follow my Instagram for more book shenanigans.